All right, this is topic 4-2, and in this topic we are solving inequalities, but we're going to just be looking at when we are solving with addition and subtraction. So these are going to be one-step inequalities with addition and subtraction. For instance, y minus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 12. Just like we did before, we want to get the y alone. So we want to get rid of this minus 3. The opposite of a minus 3 is we're going to add 3 to both sides. When you do that, the 3's create that 0 pair. Y is greater than or equal to. Now, this is different. These have different signs. Because they have different signs, we're going to subtract. And the bigger one is negative. So 12 minus 3 is 9. Now, we do want to go ahead and graph our inequality. So just like we did on the last lesson, we're going to put a 0, positive 9, and a negative 9. All right. Now, do we want an open circle or closed circle? Right, we want a closed circle because it has the equal to negative 9. Now, do I want y to be smaller than negative 9? Or do I want my y to be bigger than negative 9? Well, if I placed a 0 in there, is 0 greater than negative 9? And yes, it is. So we know we're headed in this direction. We want y to be bigger. So we're going to go this way because y is bigger than negative 9. So this is the bigger side from that negative 9. All right, so this is what we are looking at in this section. It reviews one-step equations, but now we're graphing them also. So another one we could have is negative 3.4 is greater than c minus 1.2. All right, in this one, again, we want to solve for c. We're going to do the opposite of a minus or a negative, which is a positive 1.2 to both sides. All right, I have created that 0 pair. They go away. This says C, bring that down. But now these are, again, they have different signs. So we are going to be subtracting. The bigger one is negative. So I know my answer has to be negative, and I'm going to subtract. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. All right, but now we want to create our number line. So we're going to have 0, 2.2, and negative 2.2. Now, do we want an open circle or a closed circle? Correct. We are going to have an open circle at the negative 2.2 because it is not equal to 2.2. It's just around it. Now, if I was to plug in 0, is 0 smaller than negative 2.2? And no, it is not. If I was to come over here and look at negative 3, is negative 3 smaller than negative 2.2? Yes, that is true. So we are actually going to be using the C smaller than this. So if we're going to fill in this side, because smaller means we're getting more negative. So this is the smaller side. All right. And let's try a fraction one. So we're going to look at J plus 5/12 is less than negative 3/4. Again, I want to solve for my J. I need to get rid of this 5/12, so I'm going to do the opposite of plus. I'm going to do the inverse operation, which is the minus or negative 5/12. These cancel out and give me that 0 pair, so J is less than. Now, these are the same signs. So we are going to add our numbers. We can see the biggest one, actually the biggest one, is negative, so our answer will be negative. Now the only other thing we have to think about here is getting that common denominator. So we need to make a denominator of 12. That means 4 times 3 gave us that 12. Whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So 3 times 3 gives us 9. Okay, so instead of a negative 3/4, we now have a negative 9/12. 9 plus 5 is 14 over 12. And we can't leave it there, so you could either reduce it, which would give you negative 7 over 6, or you can go ahead and 6 goes into 7 one time, leaving us 1 left over. Okay, so J is less than negative 1 1/6. When you graph this, again, we're going to have the 0, the 1 1/6, the negative 1 1/6. Do we need an open circle or a closed circle? We're going to have an open circle because it does not equal that. Now I want J smaller than this. So is 0 smaller than negative 1 1/6? No. So again, we're going to go more negative with our numbers. So we're going to color in this side because we want it to be more negative. Okay? Now, sometimes you can see a word problem. So the word problem we're going to look at is a bounce house can hold 15 children. 7 children go in. So I'm putting 7 in my bounce house. I want to write and solve an inequality that represents the additional number of children. So I want to know how many more kids can I add to go into my bounce house. So we know the bounce house can hold 15. Can it hold more than 15? Okay. And no, it has to hold less than. So we're going to put our X, the number of kids we can add, to the 7 that are already in there. When we do this, we can solve. We're solving for our X. We're going to do the opposite or the inverse. And when we do that, we're going to take away the 7. X has to be smaller than 15 minus